Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have the Purvis Blades Progeny-MR. The MR stands for more reasonable, which I think is a hilarious little code for the end of a knife, a little acronym, whatever you want to call it. This is a less expensive version of the Progeny V2. The Progeny V2 goes for about $260 with M390 and carbon fiber and all kinds of fancy stuff on it. This is $132 for this G10 version, $138 for the green micarta. Both have a 154 cm blade. They are made by Bestech. I have no issues with that whatsoever. Bestech is a great OEM, and we're going to show another Adam Purvis design that was released by Bestech themselves pretty shortly. But a really cool knife, very kind of, sheep's footy, worn, cliffy sort of blade. Just the two standoffs in the back, very, very open construction. Very nice titanium milled pocket clip. Really cool little pivot on there. I like that a lot. Not a whole lot of billboarding, just the Adam Purvis logo and 154 cm on either side. That's it. No complaints there. Some T6 screws. Wish I didn't see that. But other than that, yeah, I really do like the overall design and construction of this knife a whole lot. This is kind of a first impressions review. I want to give a little caveat here. I've only had this for a day. It arrived very early this morning. I'm recording this video as late as I can, and I've been using it as much as possible. Had a guy installing Windows today in my house. I couldn't really work, couldn't really do much else, so I just hung out with this all day and just cutting stuff up. The worker guy probably thought I was a psychopath because I'm just sitting there hacking cardboard and stuff, but whatever. But I do have a pretty good first impression of this. I probably will not do an actual full review. I will probably just skip ahead to, you'll see in a couple, 3 months, I'll be doing a long-term update. And yeah, this is going to be on it because, spoiler alert, it ain't going anywhere. I do like it a whole lot. So let's get going and do some specs and some size comparisons. And when we get to the size comparisons towards the end, I'll talk more about comparisons to the Bestech Texel. For specs, line this up. You have 1/2 inch squares here. You have a blade length of 3 1/4 inches, overall length of 7.6 inches. You have a blade thickness of 0.14 inches, handle thickness of 0.51 inches, and a weight of 3.25 ounces. So if you are looking for that, exact ounce per inch thing, yeah, this nails it. 3.25 inch blade and 3.25 ounces. So couldn't get it more accurate than that. Do some size comparisons. We'll do somewhat our usual Spyderco comparison. There's going to be one a little bit different in here, but we have your Spyderco paramilitary too. You can see it's just a little bit smaller than that. And I'm currently betwixt pair of 3 lightweights. I sold my regular one, and I have a Spy 27 on the way. So we're going to use the Delica. This is a fancy pants Delica with the Peckerwood scales and the HEP 40 S410 blade, but it's still the same dimensions. So you're just a little bit bigger than Delica, a little bit smaller than the PM2. And then we will bring out our usual Benchmade sandwich. We have the full-size Griptilian. And a knife I have not put it next to yet, but I'm betting it's very close in overall length to the full-size Bug Out. It happens to be the CF Elite version, but yeah, very similar there. And then lastly, we're going to bring out one that the blade shape just kind of reminds me of. This is the new Protect Malibu. The blade shape just kind of reminds me of it. Very similar in size to the Malibu. Just a little bit larger than a Malibu. Very small amount. And also, we have to bring up, and we'll talk about this for a moment before we move on, the Bestech Texel. So the Texel is $52. Obviously, Bestech name on it, but it is an Adam Purvis design. The blade shape you can see is nearly identical to the Texel. Handle's a little bit different, but yeah, the Texel was always, sort of loosely based on the Progeny as well. I felt really bad that I did not get this knife before I did my top 10 budget knives of 2019. I really should have. It would have been in there. It would have been a contender to win. I like it that much. And that's part of what pushed me to get the Progeny-MR, because I like the Texel so much. I thought, God, it's got to be close to that. I'm just, yeah. This with slightly better materials, sign me up. I love the Texel. The Texel with slightly better materials, slightly different handle shape, you can see, but still fairly similar. I was all about that. And I felt really guilty about this one. I know Adam, I've met him. I didn't even ask about like any kind of deal or anything. I just went and bought one because I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to miss it, for this year. They are available right now. That's part of the reason also why I am doing this video is just only having it for one day, because they are available on the site. Adam Purvis, A Purvis Blades, one-man shop. I'm sure he's going to keep ordering them, but I'm sure there's going to be gaps in availability. So go get one right now. There's a link down below. I don't have a discount code for you or anything, but it is down there below. So all that said, a lot of intro. Let's talk about this knife, the blade. 154 cm steel. I have no problems there. I know some people are going to balk. 132 bucks. Oh, it should be S35VN, S30V, whatever. I really like 154 cm. The aforementioned Protex, a lot of Protex use this. I like the steel. I've used it a lot. It's super easy to sharpen. Holds an edge plenty well, long enough for me. And it's actually one of my favorite budget steels. You can't quite call this a budget knife, but I still really like 154 cm, so I'm not going to complain about that. I really like this blade shape. It's extremely useful, and it's about 22 thousandths behind the edge. I measured it, so not bad at all. Very good slicer, super sharp edge out of the box. No issues there whatsoever. And I really love the blade on this. I like the blade on the Texel. I like this one just as much. It does not have a weak tip on it at all. Very strong tip on it for a Wharncliffe kind of blade. So no complaints there. I really love the blade on this. I think it's outstanding. Flat grind. It is not hollow ground or anything. Very, very good. Ergonomically, also excellent. I'm going to make one little caveat to that, but for my hands, excellent. We still have oil leaking out of this. Been using this thing all day. It's Best Tech. They like to put a lot of oil on there. Ergonomics are great. This mill pocket clip, no hot spots whatsoever. Your thumb lands, you can either, like right here where it's a bit fatter, or you can move up a little bit. You still have very good amount to, or very good thickness to get your thumb on. It's not like sharp or anything. Works really great in kind of a pinch cut. I had to do a lot of stuff like that with it today. Works excellently for that. My one ergonomic caveat is it's very comfortable for my hands. I have large size gloves, skinny fingers, but normal human size palms. And it works fine for me. But the shape of this handle, I could see if you had much larger mitts and say you're back like here, I could see the heel of this, becoming a hot spot. But for my hands, it isn't. It works really well. So just want to put that out there. For my fairly normal human hands, it is awesome, but if you have giant meat hooks, it might not be. As far as the carry goes, bring out ye olde Levi's. On ye olde Levi's, it works great. Drops down, you've only just got a little bit sticking out of there. You do have a bit of a flipper tab sticking out, but not bad at all. Just a tiny amount, and the jimping is right where it's not catching your widow pinky as you go by or anything like that. Doesn't take up much room in the pocket. Bring this out. Yeah, it doesn't take up much room there. It carries very, very well. The weight is perfect. It's fine. The only caveat I have is I am currently wearing today 511 tactical jeans, which aren't super thick. Tactical jeans, it sounds crazy, but they do have a reinforced pocket. And so it's a bit thicker, and in my pocket, you can see the ramp is fine on the pocket clip, but there's not that much clearance. I can only get it down about that far in my 511 tactical jeans. They don't move anywhere. It does not like it's going to fall out or anything, but there's more knife sticking out. It just won't go down any farther than that. So if you're wearing thicker pants, like like Dicey's work jeans or something like that come to mind, just keep in mind it might not settle all the way down to the end there, but there's still enough tension on the pocket clip. It holds it in fine. But I do want to mention that. Action-wise, it's very good. I would not mind if the detent was a skosh higher, but it's really not the end of the world. Does drop shut extremely well. Very, very smooth. Just extremely smooth. I've done nothing to this since I got out of the box except flip it a lot and play with it, and it works great. Again, you can have this much more detent, but it's not like it's going to shake out, and it's not like it's easy to fail. It still fires out every time. But one thing about the action I love about this knife And this is the kind of thing you get with, I think, a lot with collaborations. You get a guy like Adam Purvis, definitely knows a lot about designing knives. And when he's working with somebody like, Best Tech that can just get him out faster, the access to the liner lock is freaking superb. I almost never even mention this because it's normally either okay or I mention it if it's bad. This one is so good. You can just see that, like, the liner lock, how it's kind of chamfered there, the mill out in the G10, and it is just glorious to access. It's super comfortable. You never miss it. It's a small thing, but man, it is just really nice. It's a pleasure to close. It's a pleasure to access to close. I really like it. And that's my overall impression of this knife for $132. Unless you're just morally opposed to 154 CM at this price, which you shouldn't be. There's a whole lot of knives with this steel at this price, and it's a great steel. I really like this. Ergos are good. Blade's good. Action's good. Carry's pretty good if you're wearing super thick jeans. Really, really, really liking this. I'm very glad that I got my hands on one. Trying to sort of right the wrong, of missing out on the Texel in time. But I really do like. We'll bring the Texel back out here. So that brings, this knife I like it so much that it's brought me to a conundrum. Because, going on the A Purvis Blades site, bought this, and I go back on there to, look at some stats and stuff to make sure I get some prices right. And I'm like, wow, they still have the Progeny V2 available, which is the more expensive version of this. I'm like, man, do I need one of those? And I don't know. I got some knives for sale right now. If they sell, I might need a V2. I might need the more expensive one. So if you're designed to have like a gateway drug path of progenies, yeah, I've fallen for it. So yeah, I'm really thinking I might need a Progeny V2. So that's how much I like this. It's a great design. I would not mind having a fancier version of it around my collection. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.